Welcome to the court gallery. An inmate already serving time decides to represent himself after attacking a corrections officer with pins. Throughout this trial, you will see a masterclass in delusion as the defendant completely ignores the rules, attempts to litigate his past grievances, and repeatedly interrupts the judge. From bizarre opening statements claiming grand conspiracy to grueling cross-examinations that only prove his own guilt, this self-represented defendant absolutely refuses to listen to reason. The judge exercises the patience of a saint while trying to keep the trial on track, but the entitlement on display here is off the charts. You'll see what I mean coming up right now.
Record shall show that the jury is seated in the courtroom. All parties are present. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We had to take up some matters, as that's normal, as we begin a trial outside the presence of the jury. We are ready to proceed. Thank you for your patience. What I'm going to do, first of all, is swear all of you in as jurors. In this case, please raise your right hands. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm that in the case of the state of Texas versus Raymond Peoples, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? Lower your hands. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, by the oath that you have just taken as jurors, you have now become officials of this court and active participants in the public administration of justice. At all times, it is your foremost responsibility to make certain that justice is done in this case, in accordance with the law presented to you and the evidence presented. At this time, I'm going to ask the state of Texas to please recite the indictment, and the defendant shall rise.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, the grand jurors for the county of Jefferson, state aforesaid, duly organized as such at the January term, AD 2023, of the Criminal District Court of Jefferson County, in said county and state, upon oath in said court present that Raymond Peoples, hereafter styled the defendant, on or about this the 6th day of June 2023, and anterior to the presentment of this indictment, in the county of Jefferson and state of Texas, did then and there intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly cause bodily injury to Charles Ford by striking Charles Ford about the head and body with pins, and the defendant did then and there use or exhibit a deadly weapon, to wit pins, that in the manner of its use and intended use is capable of causing serious bodily injury or death during the commission of said assault. And the defendant did then and there know that said Charles Ford was a public servant, to wit, a Jefferson County corrections officer in the lawful discharge of an official duty, to wit, transporting said defendant with the correctional facility against the peace and dignity of the state, signed by the foreman of the grand jury.
Raymond Peoples, as defendant in this case, you've heard the indictment read by the state. How do you plead it as, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty is entered into the record on your behalf. You may be seated. State may make an opening statement at this time if you wish.
Good morning. This is, as far as evidence goes, it's going to be a relatively simple trial. And what I'm going to tell you is not an argument this morning. That'll come later on after the evidence is presented. What I'm going to tell you now is what I expect the evidence to show you, or what I'm going to present to you, kind of give you a roadmap of what's going on. So back in June of 2023, Raymond Peoples was in what they call isolation cell. And you're going to hear from Lieutenant Charles Ford, who is the complainant in this case, that Raymond Peoples was in that isolation cell because he threw some feces on Lieutenant Ford in the past, and they put him in isolation. And then he kept doing things to stay in isolation, so they kept him in isolation. On that day, on June 6th of 2023, Lieutenant Ford was ordered by his captain to take Raymond Peoples and remove him from cell number 6, isolation cell 6, down to isolation cell 1, so they could do maintenance on cell 6. It was a simple thing. You go down, you tell them pack up your stuff, move down here to this cell, and everything's good. You're going to hear that Mr. Peoples decided that he's not going to do that he didn't want to move. He claimed that the other cell was full of feces and urine and that it smelled and that they were just trying to get him down there to put him in a bad cell. You're going to hear from a couple of the jailers who talk about the fact that cell had just been cleaned. They had cleaned it. It was clean. Matter of fact, you're going to get to see a video of the incidents as they occur. There's no sound, but there's video of Lieutenant Ford, several other officers trying to talk to Mr. People to come out and go down there. You're also going to see one of the officers actually go down to the cell just to show him. He walks down to the cell and you'll see him stick his head in, and he's in there for a little while looking around, making sure that everything's okay, and comes back. And still Mr. People won't come out. What you're going to notice in the video, if you look real closely, is you're going to notice that when you see it, Lieutenant Ford's going to point out that right when he starts talking to him, you're going to see that he has his hands wrapped up with cloth. And he's ready to fight. And that's always a bad thing with inmates. So they try. You're going to see probably about 4 or 5 officers talk to him in the window and try to cajole him to come out and do it peacefully. And he puts his mattress up against the wall of the cell, the door of the cell. You're going to see that in the video. You're going to see the mattress go up against that little window because there's a camera pointing right towards his cell. It comes up. They still try to talk to him. So they decide to do the next step up. And the next level up is we got these little pepper balls in this little gun. And since he's plugged up his little food tray thing where they also stick their hands out to be cuffed so that they can come out and be transported to another place, they fire 3 or 4 pepper balls sprayed up in the top to kind of try to get him to comply. And still, he doesn't stick his hands out. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. He still keeps the mattress up against the door. And so now they have to do what they didn't want to do, which is go in and take him by force. So there's 4 or 5 of them that go in, and they all stand around and they open up the door. You'll see him open up the door. You'll see him come out. And in both of his hands, he has his hands wrapped, and he has ballpoint pens, and they're trying to tackle him, and he's trying to swing. And you'll see him actually hit the floor, and they go down to get in a bundle. And while they're down on the floor, you're going to hear one of the Sergeant Anderson. He's going to tell you that Raymond Peoples strikes Lieutenant Ford with the pin in the face and in the neck area. You'll see some blood up here around his up above his eye, some scratches down here. You'll also hear Lieutenant Ford say that while they were down there, that after they got his hands restrained in front, that Raymond Peoples leans up and scratches his whole face, and you'll see the scratches down the side of his face. And you're going to hear all the jailers talk about how they finally got him subdued. They finally get him down to cell number 1 and put him in cell number 1, and he starts fighting again. And so they have to take him and they put him in what's called a wrap. And a wrap is kind of like putting somebody in a burrito wrap. It wraps them up so they can't hurt themselves, can't hurt anybody else. And then they have the nurse check them out, and everything's fine with him. The only one injured out of all this is Lieutenant Ford. You're going to hear all the officers, or most of the officers, say that Mr. Peoples was continually yelling out, "I'm going to kill you, Ford. I'm going to kill you, Ford." That this was a personal thing that he was going to do, and he planned on doing it. You're also going to hear that they used the least amount and that there were no injuries on Mr. Peoples. When they got him down there, there was not an injury on him. He did not have a bump or bruise or anything, that they used just what they had to get him where they needed to. Then we're going to switch to April of 2026 this year. You're going to hear from Officer Tinker, who has an incident with Mr. Peoples. Mr. Peoples lays on the floor and refuses to move again. And so they're going to have to use force to get him up. And you're going to hear Officer Tinker tell him that he's going to use some language that I'll let Officer Tinker read it out loud to you. But during that conversation, he also tells him, I've stabbed.
No. And during opening statement, don't interrupt, sir. It's his version of what he expects the jury to show. Don't object. That's not for you to object to. Stay quiet. You get your chance to make an opening statement. Proceed. Thank you. That's the rule of law.
The defendant's going to tell Officer Tinker that I've stabbed supervisors before, I got away with it, I'll get away with it again. You're gonna hear all this, and at the end of all this, and once you see the video and you listen to the officers and how this all went down, you're gonna see that that Raymond Peoples was trying to kill, gouge, hurt, harm, cause bodily injury to Lieutenant Ford, and did so with a pen and also with his hands. I look forward to presenting the case to you.
All right, Mr. Peoples, do you want to make an opening statement at this time?
Yes, I
You
do.
can defer until after the state rests. You want to make it now? Go ahead.
Name is Raymond Peoples, 37 years old. Been incarcerated since 2019 as a completely innocent man on the charges that I was originally brought in here for. And what you're going to find out, this charge right here specifically, is merely and completely, solely retaliation, especially through conspiracy or whatnot. This charge and the other charge with implements for escape solely is retaliation through conspiracy or whatnot. And you're gonna also see it's gonna be a lot of stuff that is gonna be unbelievable that I'm doing my testimony that you're going to hear or whatnot. But I won't testify to nothing that I don't have evidence to. Everything is going to be evidentially brought up within paperwork, timing, circumstances. Everything is on record. Anything that I bring up as a defense in justification to anything is on record. Yeah, nothing that I will tell you will be a lie. What you will realize is that the justice system right now or whatnot, outside of the actual criminals or whatnot, there are some people that comes to jail or whatnot that actually is innocent. But there's quite a few people within the justice system with power that don't care at all about innocence, period. All they want is convictions. And the fact that a lot of you have family or whatnot that works within the legal system, I'm pretty sure you were aware that mistakes does happen with people that, you know what I'm saying, actually get charged. Innocent people get charged with crimes that they didn't commit. And even Mr. Stevens had to apologize months ago to a man that spent 18 years in prison and convicted in this county as an innocent man.
Hold on. That's outside the evidence, and that is a complete misstatement, sir. You deal with the evidence on this case.
Okay. So
please, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Keeping in mind, this court received the Attorney General Award, the highest award given by the United States government by President Clinton for my prosecution of the James Byrd murders. So don't be alleging that I'm doing anything inappropriate, sir. Stay with the facts of this case. Move forward on the facts of this case. Let the jury understand what this case is about and make a ruling on this case and the facts here. Go ahead.
So talking about facts, there was 6 officers that was present that day, right? The guy that he mentioned, Lieutenant Tinker, he was nowhere around that day. Matter of fact, he wasn't even working that day. So for him to be coming to testify, he has nothing to do with this case. That's why I was trying to object, because there's going to be situations that I need to bring up, you know what I'm saying, that correlates with this situation, but he's going to tell me it don't have nothing to do with the case. But yet he's allowing the district attorney to bring up situations that has nothing,
Sir,
absolutely nothing
once
to do
again,
with
sir, do not. talk about what the evidence in this case is, sir.
That's what the evidence.
Just
Retaliation
speak
through
on what the
conspiracy.
evidence that happened
Retaliation
on
through
this
conspiracy.
occasion on or about June 6th, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas.
Right.
That's what this is about.
Right.
This isn't a sermon from you on what you don't like and what you like.
No.
Please stay with the facts. Thank you for
Right.
following the rules.
So that's why I'm explaining this to them, because it correlates with retaliation through conspiracy. Right? You know, I'm tired of this back and forth. I'm done. I'm just talk to y'all right from the testimony.
All right, the state may call your first witness.
Lieutenant Charles Ford.
Give me some kind of that microphone close to your voice. It's what they call a directional microphone, which means you have to speak right into it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Can you state your name, please? Charles Ford. And where do you work? Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. How long have you worked for them? 24 years. And what do you do for them? I'm a lieutenant in correction. Back on April 6th of 2023, were you a lieutenant with corrections? Yes, sir. And what were you, as a lieutenant, what are your duties? Supervising operations of the unit, inmates, supervision, making sure the officers are doing what they're supposed to do. And then make sure all the inmates are getting everything that they're allowed to by law. Okay. You know an inmate by the name of Raymond Peoples? I do. And you see him in the courtroom today? Yes, I do. And you point to him and describe something he's wearing. He's solid black shirt and all that. Record reflects his identify the defendant? Yes, it will. And how do you know Raymond Peoples? He's currently incarcerated in our facility. How long has he been in there? Exact time I don't know. I know since at least 2022 for sure. Okay. Has he been there off and on? Yes, sir. And was he always where he was when this happened, June 6th of 2023? Was he in an isolated cell? No. Where was he originally placed when he first got to it? He was in maximum security in an open cell that was among the rest of the other inmates within that dorm building. Okay. And those settings are, you say dormitory or cell, which one? Well, it's a dorm that has single cells all the way around that have open bars, and they can communicate from side to side, and pretty area. So when was he moved to an isolated cell? You remember? October of 2022. So when he got there, it was in 2022, and so in October 2022, he moved to an isolated cell. Mm-hmm. What for? Initial, he was throwing feces on a trustee that was in the dorm, and then we tried to approach him later on the situation, and he threw liquid feces on me and the other officer that was there. What happens when people do that? What does that do to them in a jail situation? It puts them in a situation where they'll be isolated in an isolation. Okay, well, let's talk about an isolation cell. What are isolation cells? It's a solid cell, solid front door with a food court on it that has to be opened with a key. Solid brick walls all the way around. Less communication between other people. And when people are in there, do they stay in there their whole stay, or can they work their way out? They can work their way. How can they do that? Adjusting their behavior, making, following the rules, not, committing violations within the jail, not assaulting staff members. So, and such. So did Raymond Peoples ever work his way out of an isolation cell? No, sir. But tell me what kind of inmate is Raymond Peoples to deal with on a day-to-day basis? Difficult. What does he do to make life difficult or make it difficult to take care of? Everything in the jail is built against him. It's done to, intentionally harm him or, prevent him from getting whatever he's supposed to get in some sort of way. Is he getting everything everybody else gets according to law? Yes, sir. Has he gotten any special favors from anybody just to make sure that he goes overboard to take care of what he needs? Just what he needs, am I right? Is that your job, is to make sure people get what they need?
Yes, sir.
Is he also protected by certain things, by certain rights in that jail cell?
Mhm.
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
I'm sorry, she has the type of.
I'm sorry.
And in that single cell, what is he allowed to have?
His property, personal property, hygiene, legal work, or, everything that every other inmate is allowed to have. As far as personal property and, his day-to-day, need.
Now, has he had some kind of personal fixation on you personally trying to
I believe so.
harm his rights? And did it all start back with that feces throwing thing?
I believe so.
And with the feces throwing, what was there, did he make any accusations whenever y'all moved him to a single cell back then?
He accused me of stealing his property and not returning it to me. During the incident, his property was packed and the cell was clean. The whole area had to be clean. Cells next to him had to be clean. In front of the cell, the day room, all that had to be clean. And everything was removed from his cell and cleaned up, and he was placed in a single cell or an isolation cell as well.
So it sounds like it was scattered pretty, must have been a big mess when he was throwing that. So did you pack up his cell and take everything over there?
I did not.
Okay.
I tended to get him secured in an isolation cell, and I went to go clean up.
So how many people are along the isolation cell?
In that particular area, 12.
Are they always full, or just sometimes there's some, sometimes there's not?
I usually in cell before.
Well, on June 6th of, June 6th of 2023. What cell was Raymond Peoples in?
Nora isolation 6.
Okay. Nora, do y'all have like letters for certain parts of the?
Yeah, on the door it says NI-06 on it.
So the N Nora isolation 06 is the
Yes, sir.
And that day, was there something that required Raymond Peoples to have to move from isolation cells?
Yes, sir. My captain instructed us that cell needed to be decommissioned temporarily for security purposes to improve the cell. And he would have to be removed from the cell and put in a different cell that we had available.
Now y'all have certain jail standards that you're required to follow, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And sometimes they updated and certain things have to be done to your cells.
Yes, sir.
So that day when y'all had to move him for the maintenance to get that done, where were you going to move them to?
To isolation cell 1.
So 5 cells down?
Yes, sir.
Now isolation cell 1, was there anybody in isolation cell 1 at that time?
Not at that time.
Whenever you remove somebody from an isolation cell, do trustees go in, or does anybody go in and clean those up?
Yes, sir.
And those trustees, when they clean, are they inspected afterwards to make sure they've done what they're supposed to do?
Yes, sir.
So was isolation cell 1 clean that before y'all were going to move Raymond Peoples down to isolation cell?
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, during the process of talking to him, did somebody go down and check isolation cell 1 to make sure it'd be clean?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about that day. Who was it that approached Raymond Peoples to tell him we got to move you from isolation cell 6 to isolation cell 1?
I believe it was him.
And when you did that, how receptive was Raymond Peoples to your wanting to move? No.
Not receptive at all.
Was there anything that led you to believe that it might be a problem moving him? What was that?
He straight up told us that there was going to be a fight. He didn't want to move, and we were out to get him.
Did he have anything that showed you that he was serious about it was going to be a fight?
Yes, he had his hands wrapped up with 2 ink pens, kind of sticking out the bottom as if you could use it as a weapon.
Okay. Now, the wrap, what was the wrap? Could you tell what they
I
were?
couldn't tell what it was. I could just tell it was a white cloth.
Okay. Just white cloth on both hands?
Yes, sir.
And you could see the ink pens.
Mhm.
What kind of ink pens were they?
Just regular little thick plastic pens. They're dark gray. They're transparent. You can see through them. so that they can, see if they can hide anything in.
Kind of good.
Exactly like that.
So when you see that, what do you got to do now?
Get prepared to extract him from the cell safely.
Whenever you get a situation like that, and somebody's ready to fight, do you just go in, rush in, and go grab them out, drag them
No,
out?
sir. So we try to talk them down, spend some time together, try to de-escalate the situation to see if, we can resolve this without any force and, just try to do it peacefully.
So did you come back? Did you have another officer with you that tried to talk to Mr. People?
I do.
And who was that?
Officer Senegal.
Okay. Why did you bring Officer Senegar?
Senegar is very good at talking with people. He has a way of talking people down. He's a very people person.
Was he able to talk?
Not that good.
Okay. So did you bring anybody else in to talk to Mr. People?
I brought several other people to talk with him. Officer Darby showed up to help. Officer Jay Stevens showed up to help. And after trying to de-escalate, there was no talking him down.
Was there a sign that you knew that it was the communications were over? Did he do something in the cell to kind of shut it off?
He took his mattress and covered up his food port, which the mattress is about 2.5 foot wide, about 6 foot long, and it was pressed up against the door so that when the food port would be open, there was no access to the cell. If we needed to spray some chemical agents or something like that, it wasn't going to go in the cell.
That food port, what is that you use for mostly?
It's used for serving chow. We lay, give them to them. That's where their food tray goes in, and if they're removed from the cell for any reason, they're restrained by the wrist before they come with answer.
Okay, because they've proven to be a problem. Is that why you cuff them before you bring them out?
That is our general policy on anybody that's removed out of any cell in maximum security.
So it's not anything new to anybody. It wasn't just particularly for him.
No.
So anybody before they're removed out of the cell has to be restrained.
Restrained by the wrist, yes, sir.
That for everybody's sake.
Yes, sir.
So you go to the cell, you try talking to him, he's not coming out. What's your next step that you've got to do?
I went and retrieved what we call the pepper ball launcher. It's a device which shoots pepper balls that are about the size of paintballs that have powdered chemical agent in it, which is basically powdered pepper spray. The cell door was open. A couple rounds were fired off into the cell, not directly at him, but above his head, so that the powder could take effect, and that didn't work. Once they were shot, the door was immediately closed, and we waited a little bit, and it wasn't effective.
Pretty strong stuff, isn't it?
It is.
I mean,
It shut me up quite a bit.
can you see y'all on the video? Can you see y'all kind of walking away,
Yes.
trying to get away from it? And yet that still didn't work.
It doesn't.
So what do you got to do next?
Forcibly remove him from the cell.
Now, is that something y'all like to do?
No.
Why is it you don't like to do that?
The minute the door opens without someone restrained and force is imminent to be used, there's the possibility of injuries of staff, of the inmate, of anybody that could be involved in the situation. And our goal at the end of the day is to walk out the same way we came.
And also have your inmates not get hurt if they don't have to. All right.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: when you do that, do you just go in with one or two, or do you go in with plenty of force?
As many as I can.
Okay. Why is that?
It's easier to control someone when there's more hands involved. More people can, I can have one person on one arm, one person on another, same with the legs, and, minimize their movements and lessen the risk of somebody getting hurt.
So when we start back at the beginning of this, if he had said, yes, I'll move down to the other cell, would any of this been necessary?
Not at all.
Now, does it ever look pretty whenever you go use force on an individual?
Nothing.
And that's why if it's at all avoidable, y'all do that, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So you had to open the door and go in, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So going in, you don't actually go in the cell, do you?
No, no, once the cell door was opened, he had his mattress and came out of the cell or tried to come out of the cell. And the mattress was removed and he was taken to the floor.
Okay. What did he have in his hands when he came out the door?
He had the pin wrapped up in it.
You remember him trying to swing those pins?
Once he came out and was taken to the floor, there was an incident where he broke loose of officer's grasp and he charged directly at me with those in his hand.
Okay. And that's why you're all down the ground, kind of.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you've got all this going on with him. You've got other officers. Everybody's trying to grab different parts. Is there a lot of moving parts going on in there?
Very much so.
Okay. So while you're doing this, what were you concentrating on your part and they're concentrating on their part? What was going on?
The concentration was trying to get him restrained, because at that point, I don't believe he was restrained at that point.
So then you got him on the ground. You're close quarters with him at that point, aren't you?
Yes.
I mean, you're all right there on top of him trying to get him to do stuff. Am I right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
So was there a part where you felt pain while he was doing all this?
When he charged at me, yes, sir, I felt pain to my face and chest.
Okay.
And inside my head.
Now, in your report, I think you said he grabbed you by the head and scratched you on the side. Is that right?
I believe so. I remember him coming at me and I remember feeling sharp pain in my face and several different areas.
Okay. So you don't know if it was from the pins, the scratches, or all of the above.
Yeah, it could have been all of it.
Was he saying anything while he's doing all this?
At one point, he did mention that he wanted to kill me.
Was he trying to say that about anybody else or just you?
I just heard my name.
Okay. Did y'all finally get his hands restrained?
Yes,
That take a little bit.
it took a while. Yes, sir.
Now I know whenever you look back and see it, did you watch the video? We're going to show the video in a minute. Did you watch the video this morning? It just took a little while, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Does it seem a little longer when you're in there in the tussle?
Well, the video actually makes it feel longer than it did. It felt like it happened so quickly.
Everything just.
Yeah.
So when you got up and y'all got him restrained, was the fight over then?
No, sir.
What happened after you got him up?
We got him up, walked him to the cell, and we went into the cell. And he still was threatening to kill me, and there was he wasn't calming down at all. And so we felt that if we tried unrestraining, there's going to be some more violence.
So what did you decide to do?
We put him in what's called a wrap. It's a restraint system that minimizes the movements of their arms, their legs, and their entire body. And it just that there's no movement once you're in that system.
To do that, did you do it in the cell or did you take him somewhere?
No, he was walked to the day room that was around the corner and placed in the restraint system there. And then once he was restrained, that we called the nurse to check to see if he had full, if he had what we call circulation on his extremities.
So when you put the wrap on him, if you tighten it too much, you might cut some circulation off.
Yes, sir.
So you have the nurse check him, make sure he's okay.
Yes, sir.
And was he clear?
He was clear.
How long do they stay in the wrap?
2 hours.
And then once they're released, back to normal, where they go?
If we have to let them up for, range of motion and everything, and if they're still showing violent behavior, they go back in.
Okay. So do you remember, did he show anything after that, after the wrap, did that calm him down?
I don't recall. I believe I was cleaning up.
Okay, you weren't around, okay. So the video we talked about, there's several videos. There's one of the incident. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Is yes?
Yes, sir.
Is there one of, three of them of walking him down to where you put the wrap on?
There's video of from where the incident happened all the way to where he was placed in the wrap, and the videos depict all of the paths we took.
Okay. So State's Exhibit 1, that what you watched this morning, and do all those videos fairly and accurately depict what happened that day on June 6, 2023?
Yes, sir.
Tender States 1, the videos.
No.
Without objection, it is admitted.
Permission public.
That is granted.
Now you saw the pins in his hands, and Marty, you can turn back on. Thank you. You see the pins in his hands when he came out.
Mhm.
You saw him before he came out. Is that right?
Yes.
So, did you personally see him hit you with the pins themselves?
No.
What did you see?
I've seen an individual coming towards me and hands going towards my face. The pins were still in his hand, but
This infuriates me to no end. Xfinity, get your stuff together. Please, we're in the middle of a really interesting case. Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw buffering and you're now seeing a wolf on your screen, it is because Xfinity is being stupid in the middle of the day during an extremely important case. Let's all send happy poops to Xfinity. I stopped everything when I saw it was going crazy. I'm going to back it up just a little bit. Give me just a second. We're about to get into cross-examination. Okay. Is everybody back with me? Are we all good? I'm looking at you guys. Right? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us back. This has been a little bit of an intermission and unexpected pause due to technical difficulties. Poops to the provider. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it back going again. The court case is in progress.
yeah, the situation started calming down. I felt the burning. And, I could feel the blood running down my face.
And at this time that this happened, I have to ask this too. Were you a correctional officer working for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office?
I was.
I'll pass it.
Go to before I go through our history, you said I lunged at you with the pins in my hand, correct?
Yes.
Can you please, get ready to zoom in some of it? Because you say when y'all first took me down, that's when I got the swinging and stabbing with the pin.
No.
Oh, so the second time you took, that's when I lunged at you with the pins. So your injuries came from the second time or the first time?
Second.
Second. I would like to know, earlier during your testimony, you said, oh, you go right to the part. Yeah. You said this part is when you got injured when I stabbed you. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
This part. No, so not the second part, but this part.
No, it was, it was while you were on the ground.
The first
Came
time,
up.
first time or the second time?
It wasn't the first time. It was either this time or when you struggled with us the second time or the third time.
Okay, I'm kind of confused. You said either or. Do you remember or you forgot? Okay. All right. So let's say it was this time for the sake of argument. Let's say it was this time. Right. Now there's like 6 hands on me right now. 3 faces in my perimeter. Right. I'm getting choked at the same time, so I'm almost incapacitated, too incapacitated to.
Your Honor, I'm objecting
Sustained.
to testimony.
I'm
Just ask
asking
the
you.
question.
Well, okay,
You're going to get a fair opportunity to testify
Okay,
when that
right,
chance.
right.
Hold
No.
on.
Well, let me
Let me, no,
Let
when
me
I
ask you-
speak, I instruct the jury that the objection is sustained. In your questions, ask a question. Don't testify. You'll be able to have a chance to testify later. Because right now, anything you say as a question is not evidence. It's the answers under oath. You're not under oath, and that's what constitutes what you're asking is just giving the jury a context so that they can understand why the answer is being made. But your questions are not evidence. Ask them in a question form. You'll have a chance to give your side if you wish later in testimony. Thank you. Go ahead.
excuse that. So during that time, and y'all had me down, there was a lot of faces. From your perspective, do you believe that there might have been? That's not what happened.
Not right now.
You just got up from, you know, but in the midst of when y'all was trying to restrain, right?
Mhm.
Do you, from your perspective, do you feel like there was just too many hands on me for me to swing at that moment?
No.
It wasn't, okay. So can you zoom in, pardon? Mike, you spell it? We're zooming into this face. As we look at this, can you tell whether or not it's any injuries on your face at that moment?
I can't tell at this moment.
You can't tell. Right there. Do you see any injuries?
I can't tell.
I can't tell. Okay. So can you go ahead and play? With it zoomed up? Yeah, yeah, with it just like that. So. So at this part, at that part, is that when y'all took the pins out of my hands? Or was it after the second time?
It should have been right then.
Right there. This is when y'all took the pins out of my hands. Yeah. So, well, like, no. The first time.
I believe one was removed.
This will be the second time, correct?
That was when you scratched.
Right there. So. Is that the point I lunged at you?
Yes, sir.
Now you say that was when I scratched you. So did I stab you after I scratched you or before I scratched
I know for a fact you scratched me.
you? You feel blood on your head right there?
I can't see the video very well.
After this point, after I scratched you, did we have any more combative encounters after this? The second part?
Walking to the cell, we struggled, and then went in the cell. We got
You're talking. Wow.
Hold on. Let him complete his answer. Don't speak over his answer, please. Thank you.
You read.
Go ahead. Rephrase. Thank you.
You read. So did me and you physically have any combative confrontation to where you
You
got
and I
in
know.
to huh?
You and I know.
Yeah, no, so that was it. Okay. Here's my case. You can,
You're passing the witness?
no, I'll rest my case with the video. I was needing them to put what you call it.
That's not the right terminology, but you're going to go to something else. You're going to ask something else.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask something.
Okay. When you say you rest your case, you sit down and the other side gets.
Okay, I apologize. Let me reiterate. Can you please turn the projector on?
Hold on. If you're going to approach a witness, ask the court to do that, and then I'll grant it. But you have to ask. You want to approach the witness for something? You may. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
It's the second page of your report. Yeah. Yes. Or enter this in exhibit. And tender. Or like the tender. Enter it as an exhibit.
You have to move for the admission of it first, show the other side. It just doesn't go in without the other side having a chance to review it. You're asking to admit it and not enter it. I will allow the entry. That's what the court does. You ask for the admission, then he gets a chance to review it and make any, you may ask a witness some question for clarification. Then the court will make its ruling after the other side has a chance to review it.
Judge, just for record purposes, only mark the states, our defendant exhibit one.
All right. That item has been marked Defendant's Exhibit 1. Any objection?
The only objection I have, Judge, is he has parts of this underlined, but I'll let it out.
So, no objection?
No.
So, Defendant's Exhibit 1 admitted.
So the reason I have to underline is so I can ask. When you read this report or whatnot, right? Is there anything you feel like you left out of your report that you might have forgot, or do you feel like this is accurate when you wrote?
I believe it's accurate.
Yes. Do you believe it's consistent with what actually happened on the video that you just seen?
Pretty consistent.
Yes. So are we both in agreement that I did not learn at you with the pens in my hand?
You exited the cell with the pens in your hand as if you were going to be violent towards someone.
Right. Did I lunge at you with the pen in my hand?
Not at that point, no.
Oh, at some point I did? Well, I mean, is that what your report said?
Yeah.
Can you read it out, sir?
During the extraction of the cell, during the extraction, he was wielding an pen in each hand in a manner in which he planned to use them to stab someone. Once he was on the floor, it took a few minutes to get his hands restrained due to this combative behavior.
Next time. Next time.
After being restrained, he lunged in my direction and grabbed my face, and I felt pain from the top of my forehead to under my neck. As we continued to gain control of him, I instructed officers to move him to NIO1, which is where he was going to be housed. While in that cell, he continued to fight and threaten officers armed and threatened to kill me several times. It seemed that he was not going to calm down, so I ordered him to be placed in the rack to minimize his movements and protect himself and any staff members from any further harm.
So let me ask you this. Would it be any reason y'all would leave the ink pens in my hand after restraining?
No,
So
you weren't restrained at that particular time. You kept your hands up underneath your chest, preventing us from restraining you.
would be contradictory to your statement, wouldn't it?
You know, when she taught her, you would maintain that. Yes.
Ask your next question.
I thought you were about to say something else. So Even though your report saying after being restrained, I learned to have duration. Even though your report saying during my restraint, during the time you was restraining me, you didn't take the pins out my hand?
I personally didn't know.
Somebody did,
Somebody should have.
should have, or did.
They did, probably didn't because you weren't very cooperative with the situation. Getting your hands restrained was our first priority.
You don't remember whether or not it was taken out of my hand?
I don't remember in which order it was taken out.
Well, then do that mean you mistakenly wrote this up the way you wrote it up? If you don't remember that?
I wrote it to the best of my knowledge.
So. I'm sorry. He's not here, so I can. But anyway, let's talk this through. This was June 6, 2023. Our first encounter, our first negative encounter was October 13, 2022, correct?
Correct.
That day, before that day, a little bit before that day, do you remember asking me if I wanted to be a trustee?
No.
You don't remember? Of course you don't. Do you remember any officers referring me to you as a trustee?
No.
Not beggars?
No.
No? Okay. So do you remember me asking you, can I be a trustee? No. You don't. Okay. So that day, when I supposedly threw feces on you,
Mm-hmm.
when I at that very moment when I threw the substance on you, did you smell feces?
Instantly.
Instantly? Oh, of course you did. So let me ask you this.
I'm gonna object to the sidebar.
Sustained.
Oh, sorry.
If you're-
Sorry about that.
All right, you have to follow the rules. So, okay, go
So,
ahead.
That day, I so-called threw feces on you, right? Do you remember how that situation even started?
I remember the events earlier in that day. You had dashed the trustee with PC. I came to speak with you about it. And you had refused to come out of your cell because I was going to move you.
So nothing happened before that?
I'm aware of it.
Do you remember me writing a grievance about the situation?
No.
Do you remember me questioning you about my property?
After you were moved to isolation cell.
Do you remember what happened to my property?
No, I did not.
Who's responsible for an inmate's property after they get moved?
Well, depending on the condition of that property. That property and everything in that cell was covered in feces, including myself and another officer.
Who put the feces there? You did. I threw feces all over my own cell.
4 milk cartons full, yes, sir.
All over my own cell.
It ended up in your cell as a result of dashing us.
So you have no recollection about Ricky Johnson squirting waste into my cell.
No.
That's the witness.
State any further questions? Go ahead.
Just real quick. So the lunging part is while they're on the floor, all right?
Yes.
You are on the floor on top of him trying to restrain him. Now you put your report that you restrained him. Does that mean y'all got him on the floor?
He was subdued on the floor, but he wasn't completely restrained at that time.
You can see that y'all are down there for a little while on the ground. aren't you?
Yes.
If it was just real quick and everything was fine, y'all would have been right back up.
Yes, sir. We would have stood him right back up and tried to escort him. So,
But it took a while to get it fully under control. Is that right?
yes.
And then the pins came out later. You can probably see a white cloth being thrown out after y'all get back up.
Yes.
Okay, so
All right. Anything else, sir? No? Okay. Is this man excused?
I have no objection, Joe.
All right. We're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen, for lunch. Can all of you return back at 1:15. And if you go to lunch with a fellow juror, talk about the weather, everything else, but not about this case. Okay, thank you. Everyone else remains seated.
Judge, he just got to put that exhibit up that he attended in, there, so make sure. So we have it for the record.
And we now recall cause number 23 CR 727, the state of Texas versus Raymond Peoples, who is present, and the state's attorneys. Anything to bring up before we bring the jury in? State and defense. Ready to go? Ready to move forward?
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
So 3 years, so, okay, oh yeah. All the witnesses that you found, can you tell me?
Yeah, he has to.
I called for, I'm calling Javante Stevens, Gary Senegar, Arliss Anderson, and Thomas, I think it's Thomas Darby, and then Mr. Tinker. And then Matt Gardner, probably, the investigator.
Probably.
Yeah, I hadn't decided yet. I don't have a problem, but
Okay.
He's on the list.
Ready?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, bring the jury in. Let's move on.
No, it's not that.
But whoever's standing up when the music stops is it. The record shall show that all parties are present and the jury is present. We are ready to proceed. The state's calling your witnesses. Call your next one, please.
So Javante Stevens.
Come forward, please, sir. And raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do. Please have a seat. Thank you.
Can you state your name, please?
My name is Javante Stevens.
And where do you work?
I work for Jefferson County,
How long have you worked for them?
12 years.
What do you do for
I'm a correction officer.
them? You always been a correctional officer with Jefferson County and since you've been with them?
For the most part.
For the most part, what else do you do with them?
I have been a deputy in 2015.
Okay. Back on June 6th of 2023, were you a deputy with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office?
I was in corrections.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry. You were corrections officer with corrections. Thanks for correcting me. You're jailer back then, is that correct?
Yes.
And how long have you been a jailer about when this happened?
About 9 years old.
Okay. In dealing with inmates, are some easier to deal with than others?
Definitely.
And are some more compliant than others?
Definitely.
How would you rank Raymond Peoples for the times that you had to deal with him?
But as far as complying, not always complying by no means.
Okay. So this day, why were you called over to the cell number 6, the isolation cell?
Lieutenant Ford had advised me that let me know that he needed help to persuade Mr. Peoples to move cells.
And did you in fact go over there to try to help persuade him?
Yes,
Did it look like you were going to be able to persuade him to do anything?
not at all.
What was the posture you could see when you were talking to him? What was he doing?
Very frantic, very irate, very mad.
Did he say anything about what he was going to do if people came into his cell?
Yeah, he kept saying that he was gonna kill Ford, he wanted to kill Lieutenant Ford for some reason.
Had you known him to have that personal thing against Ford before?
Yes, he had said it before.
Well, let's talk. When you get an order to go move somebody from one cell to another, is it usually a big ordeal?
No, not only.
Whenever you go and tell somebody you're moving, is there usually a good reason you're moving?
Yes,
And in this case, Lieutenant Ford said they were doing maintenance on the cell because they had to do some security stuff on it. Is that correct?
I don't believe so.
And when you went there, what were you trying to tell Mr. Peoples?
That we were just wanting to move him from one cell to the other so that we could operate on the cell that he was in. He kept complaining that the cell was dirty, and we, confirmed that it was not, that it had been cleaned since the last guy left.
So you can confirm that, is that right?
Yes,
And when y'all went down there later on, when you took him down to the cell, was it clean?
yes,
So was there any reason for him not to want to go down to that cell?
no,
Had you known him to not want to do things before and just be stubborn about it?
yes.
Have you ever had to use any physical force against him to do things before that?
I do believe, I can't remember exactly for the reason, but yeah, definitely been some altercation.
So that day you go show up and try to help out. How many people tried to talk Raymond Peoples out of coming out of that cell?
Probably about 4 at least.
Let me put up here on Safety Exhibit 1. So the jury will know where you were, okay? Who's this at the cell right now?
That's Officer Darby.
Who's that?
That's me.
So are you listening to Darby kind of try to talk him out? And
Yeah,
in a minute, do you kind of take over and start having
Yeah.
conversations?
yeah, I definitely intervened to try to get him to calm down. I tend to have a decent rapport with him most times when he's in the cell. So I figured I could probably talk him into it, but he wasn't having it that day.
Did you see the stuff he had wrapped around his hands at that point?
I don't recall if I seen it at that time.
Did you see it later?
I didn't see it later.
Okay. Did you also see some things in his hand?
Yes, he had hands like strapped to his hand with some type of cloth.
Now let's see, when y'all get him out of the cell in a minute, I want to get there. He comes out. Is this you here?
Yes.
Okay. So this is you back here, back behind Darby?
Yes.
Now, it looks like when you get on the ground down there, are you behind him, holding on to him? Trying to restrain him?
Yeah, I think I'm like closer to the ground, like almost like kneeling.
So your point of view is down here on that side, right? Which side are you on?
My back is like closer to the door, like against the door.
Okay. And so is there a lot going on at that time?
Definitely.
Did you ever see Mr. Peoples with bandages with pins on his hand?
Yeah, I seen it immediately. When I first came out of the cell, first thing he did was raise his hands up, and I seen him just while I grabbed him and tried to get him to the ground as quickly as I could.
Kind of took a little bit to get him down.
Definitely, because he tried to get back up. He was very resilient.
And when y'all got him on the ground, was he still struggling to get back up?
Yes.
He still had his hands free moving around?
Yes, his hands were still strong.
Did it take you a while to kind of get him under control?
Definitely.
Did you see him striking at anybody or doing anything while he was on the ground?
I just seen a lot of flailing, not really necessarily seeing him strike anybody, not sure, because I was kind of behind him, like my head was like kind of close to his at one point, so wasn't really sure he was going on, but I was trying to get him to stop. Okay.
So once y'all get him subdued, did y'all take the pins away from him? Or do you remember?
I remember it being a struggle. I remember we got his hands restrained first, to have better control of his hands. But I remember people struggling to get them off because they were tied so tightly.
Okay, so he's got his cuffs. They put the cuffs not behind him at first, right? Y'all didn't put the cuffs behind him. The cuffs were in front.
Yeah, put his hands to the
Did
ground.
he still have the stuff and he had the pins?
Definitely.
Okay, y'all were still trying to get those away from him. So after you get him down and you've got the restraints on him and everybody's still holding him, did you finally get the pins away from him?
I'm not sure we got him away from him immediately because, like I said, it was a struggle.
There's a lot going on there, Grant. wasn't there?
Definitely, it's a lot of chaos.
And that person you saw that night, do you see him in the courtroom today? Oh, that day, you see him in the courtroom today.
Yes.
And can you point to and describe something he's wearing?
Had on a black collar shirt.
Record reflect he's identified the defendant.
Yes, it will.
Now, the person that you saw that day doing all this, he didn't look like the calm man sitting here, did he?
No,
What about the State's Exhibit A? Did he look more like that?
definitely.
That's the person that y'all were dealing with, wasn't it, that day? After you get him up out of this, where did y'all take him?
We took him to the cell that we were trying to originally get him to go to, which was isolation cell one.
So y'all get him down to the end, get him into the cell. What happened when he's in the cell?
We were trying to get him to calm down. We were trying to get him to lay flat so that we could take the restraints off of him. He kept frantically like yelling at first, and then eventually, once he was no longer like so winded, it began to escalate back into an altercation.
So what did y'all have to do eventually?
We ended up having to put him in. I believe we put him in a wrap.
Okay. When did you see the injuries on Lieutenant Ford?
Yeah.
When did you first notice him?
After we had gotten him into the route, I seen him, I seen his face and he was leaving my house.
States 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all you were behind him and you saw the flailing, but you didn't see him strike anyone directly. You couldn't see it.
No, I couldn't tell who he had been striking. It was like, it was chaotic.
Was he yelling anything while he was struggling?
We was definitely yelling and he was on field forward.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass it.
Afternoon, Mr. Stevens. So I heard you tell Mr. Laird that on normally you have a good rapport with me, so you came to the cell to try to calm him down, right? Normally. So would you agree that on a regular basis, outside of this situation, I am not frantic, irate, and chaotic?
I see you calm more than I see you frantic.
Is it the camera that they took the picture of? Is it routine that they when y'all come to take a person out they cell like that or whatnot? Is it routine that y'all grab the camera and record back then before they got the cameras on the because now they wear the cameras on the lieutenants wear the cameras on their shirt, right? But before then they didn't have the cameras on the shirt, right?
No.
Y'all use the cameras, the handheld cameras. Was it normal when you have to go in a person's cell that's acting irate that you have the camera for insurance and they record?
I don't remember when they started doing like the cat like making sure that every time like if we think that there's going to be an incident that we bring the cameras, but at some point yeah it was definitely they tried to make that routine to bring the camera out there to record.
Is it a reason you would assume that they would take a bunch of pictures of isolation cell 6, but no pictures of isolation cell 1, with me having a problem with that cell being dirty? Do you know the reason why they would not take pictures of isolation cell 1?
I'm not sure.
How did they confirm that cell was clean?
We all seen it. We all had looked in isolation cell 1. And then once we put you in the cell too, pretty sure you and everybody else confirmed those things.
Now, when you walk up that hall on a regular basis, do you normally smell urine and feces? Being that it's normally mentally ill inmates back there.
Pretty much throughout all of them were going, it smells like urine and feces.
So the fact that you smell that all the time, it's hard to tell where it's coming from, correct?
Yeah.
So when you went in isolation cell 1, did you smell anything out of ordinary? Because you were used to that type of smell, right? Maybe.
I assume that I guess.
Yeah. So did you look around the walls and check the floors and all that while you was in there? Or was you too focused on me?
We had to be prior.
Right? Like you checked yourself before you put me in?
Prior to moving you in there when you said it was, you told me that, oh, I don't want to go in there because it's dirty. When I got urine and feces, I went and looked and.
And complete your answer.
Yes.
You went to look and
Oh, I went to look and noticed that there was no urine or feces anywhere.
Yeah. So if getting back this up a little bit. So was this before you talked to me or after you talked to me?
I'm pretty sure it was after I talked to you.
After you talked to me. Do you remember the first time? The first time when you walked in and talked to me, do you remember? Is that the moment you first walking in, you coming in? You remember?
I'm guessing so. I don't remember. But that was the first time I walked in.
Just to make sure. When I go all the way back here. Boom. I'm gonna start here. Synagogue. 10-4 in synagogue was the first people that talked to me.
Hold on. But once again, you're testifying and you have to ask them a question. You just made a statement and you're not under oath, and the court is going to instruct the jury until a witness is under oath, their statements are not to be considered as evidence. He has an opportunity to give a full statement when the time is right. But questions to the witnesses are not testimony. It's the answers that they give. So be careful about how you word. Don't make statements, but ask the questions. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, Mr. Stevens, we're gonna watch this from here. Would it be okay if you please let me know when you identify the moment you check my cell? I mean, check isolation 1 for me. Mr. Stevens, did you just see somebody check isolation 1?
Like Officer Dog, when checked isolation 1.
Okay. So, Mr. Stevens, based on what we all just seen, can we now agree that you did not check isolation 1 before you put me up to?
We can agree that I didn't check it after I spoke with you.
Check it out that you spoke to me. No, you said so earlier. Would you say that you checked the cell before you spoke with me?
I said, I believe I checked it out.
Okay. Can we now agree that you didn't?
I just said we can agree that I did not check it after I spoke with you.
Okay, yeah, okay, sorry, my mistake. So would this have been an easy fix to just go get the trustee to clean it out?
The trustee had already cleaned it out.
When?
I can't remember.
So if I felt different, right, and all I wanted was to clean it out, wouldn't it have been easier to just call him back to clean it out so we could have skipped around all of this?
Do you know the answer to that? Can you answer that?
I say, would it have been easier to just call the trustee back so we could have avoided this? Do you think it would have been easier?
I actually have no idea because you didn't seem like you want to move. Period.
Why not?
You said you didn't trust forward.
Did you testify earlier that I had a problem with moving because that cell was really nasty?
That's one of the things you also said.
And do you remember me asking me that? Can you just tell him to have the trustee go clean the cell out? So if I felt the cell was nasty and that's why I didn't want to move, would it have been easier to just call the trustee back to clean it out?
Again, I have no idea.
No further questions.
Who's in charge of the jail? Is it the jailers or is it the inmates?
The jail.
So when an inmate is asked to move somewhere, is there really much choice for him to do that, not to move? And whenever y'all told him he's going to move, should he just stuck his hands through, been cuffed and walked down and then talked about cleaning the cell down there?
Yes.
Now, when you got there, did he already have his hands wrapped ready to go or could you remember?
I can't remember that.
He doesn't get to dictate everything, does he? No. What happens if you start letting the inmates dictate how everything goes in that jail?
We wouldn't run properly.
So whenever you're asked, and people asked him nicely, didn't they? Numerous times, didn't they? And one person, even Darby, even if you don't show on here, but you know you looked at the cell before, but Darby went down and looked in. Yes. And he came back and there was nothing wrong, right?
Yes.
So why is it if y'all have done everything you can, looking at the cell, it's been cleaned and he doesn't want to go, why should he get to dictate this? Should he?
Sure.
How do you deal with inmates that that don't obey the rules there?
Normally it was through disciplinary action.
Just like outside the jail, right? If somebody violates a rule, they have to get disciplined, don't they?
Yes.
And if they violate a rule here and they won't do what you ask them to do, then you have to escalate a little bit, don't you? Try to get them to come down to the cell, right?
Yes.
And did y'all do that?
Yes.
And then you stepped up again. There was the pepper balls, right?
Yes.
And then you stepped up again and you had to go get him out.
Yes.
And all this time, all over whether he thought it was a dirty cell or not. Am I right?
Yes.
Do you really think that was the issue?
No.
Is he more about control and most of the times when he does things with people?
Definitely.
Anything else?
Yes. So. Did you not testify twice? Did you testify twice that on a regular basis, I'm more calm than this?
Yes.
So is that contrary to me being irate and irrational on a regular basis?
Well, I never said you were irate and rational. You're rational on a regular basis, but you do have a tendency to be.
You agree with that?
What'd you just say?
I said I can agree with that.
Well, once again, that's not a question, sir. Please follow the rules. Any question that is asked, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to instruct you again. It's not evidence. When they take the stand and under oath, that's what's evidence and any exhibits that are admitted. Please follow the rules. Thank you. Ask questions.
Do y'all have a policy that y'all go by? Deals. So within this policy, is sanitation one of?
What do you mean?
Do the officers have to make sure there's a clean environment for the inmates and the correctional officers also?
Yes.
So it would be a normal for and simple for a person when a person asks, okay, can you just clean it? Right? I'm insecure about if an inmate just simply asks, can you just clean it? I'm insecure. Will it be against policy to just do it? Or
Wouldn't be against policy.
I mean, it'll be pretty much in the range of policy, right? Seeing that if you have to keep the sanitized areas at all times.
It wouldn't be against policy.
No further question. Let's do it.
Anything else?
When you got down to cell one, if you'd gone in there and y'all were bringing him in and it had been covered in feces and urine, would you have fought with him in cell one? Or would you have said, man, you're right back out and had it clean?
Definitely would have sent them out and had it clean.
But not any time while y'all were down there. Y'all were down in cell one for a good time down there. Works. Y'all were kind of letting him calm down, catch his breath, right?
Yes.
So was there anything that you saw that was wrong with cell one?
No.
Absolutely. One last question. While you were dealing with me in cell one, did you have time to look around?
You know, I had time to look around.
You did. So in the middle of me being so combative, you had time to check and make sure it wasn't. You had time to check the walls and look on the floor. It was a pretty good range of time.
Again, like I stated earlier, when you first got in the cell, you were exhausted, but you still wouldn't let us take off the cuffs, and you were kind of not as combative at first, but not compliant at the same time. So yes, I had time to look around there that time.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Does it stand excused?
Please, Judge.
You're excused, sir. Thank you. Next, please.
Gary Senegar. Thank you.
Please come forward, sir. Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please have a seat. Thank you.
State your name for the jury, please.
Gary Silver, June.
And where do you work now?
I'm not working, I work at Community Rogers. I'm not working at the county.
No, but where do you work now? You work at Minnie Rogers?
Yes.
What's Minnie Rogers for people that don't know?
Juvenile detention center.
Okay. And so did you back on June 6th of 2023 work as a correctional officer for the Jefferson County Adult Correctional Facility?
Yes.
And how long did you work out there?
5.5 years.
Decided it was time for change. So back on June 6th, 2023, were you called to the solitary or isolated cell isolated cell 6 in the Jefferson County Correctional Facility?
Yes, sir.
What was the purpose of you being called there?
Inmate was having a little difficult situation. Was kind of irate, didn't want to move cells.
Why'd they call you in?
I was known for the guy that I could relate to certain certain ones of the inmates.
Yeah.
De-escalate and try to calm situations down, to try to rectify when they see we can take another route, a more peaceful route.
So looking up here at the State's Exhibit 1, is that you standing next to Lieutenant Ford? And did you actually go to this isolated cell number 6 and speak to Raymond Peoples?
Yes.
Were you able to de-escalate the situation?
I thought I calmed it down a little bit. We had a pretty good rapport. He and I, talk,
Okay.
tell him like, hey, just chill out, chill out. And making it worse.
Yeah.
So, but it will go up and down. See what it feel like he was hurt.
Good. Well, at one point, was the big deal that he didn't want to go down to the cell because he thought it was dirty? That's what he said. Was that really the reason, do you think?
It was, they claimed it, so I didn't claim it, but it was clean.
Okay. I mean, y'all ended up back down there later on, when you brought him down there. Was he clean when he got there? Okay. So he won't just comply, will it? No matter what's happening?
He did.
Okay. And then what was the next step y'all had to do to try to get him out?
Good job.
Could you see when you were talking to him, did you see the bandages he had around his hands, the things wrapped around his hands?
Yes.
Did he mention anything about fighting to you?
He didn't tell me.
Okay. Did he mention anything about not trusting Ford?
Yes.
He had a personal thing against Ford, didn't
Yeah, they have. Love ignorance.
he? So after a little while, we see even Ford's trying to talk to him too, wasn't he? Yes.
Yes.
And Darby came to talk to him too, did he? And who else came to talk to him? Was it Javante?
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Ford, you, Javante, and Darby. Darby. Y'all, the 4 of you tried, right? And it just didn't work, did it? You ever run into inmates that like to be in control? Just they have to be in control. Everything's about them and they're in control. Was that kind of the situation here? He had to be.
At that moment.
He wasn't going to budge, was he?
I had him at first, but then something happened.
You don't know why he just snapped and went the other way? Okay. So here y'all go firing the pepper balls, everything, and then open the jail cell. What happens when you open the jail cell?
He came out like at Lieutenant Ford.
Okay.
And,
Did he have that mattress up there against that door?
no, that the first time we had to do this twice.
Yeah,
First time, we had to open the door and then shot a couple balls in there.
Right.
And then it's matter of, we had his mat covering
right.
and then to the close to me.
Okay. And then the second time they opened it up.
That's what it's
Where were you in the altercation? Do you remember?
about. They would always put me in the front. I think I'm just on the old side.
Let's see if we can get to that point and you kind of point yourself out. Okay, so is this you right here?
Yes.
Okay.
This was after the pepper ball spray.
Yes, this after the touch ball spray, this is when he comes out of the mattress. So you're still back here, are you not? You're kind of back over there with Darby in front of you, aren't you? So did you see him flailing around with his hands or could you see?
Yes, I remember he told me, get out the way.
Who did?
I don't know.
Okay. Get out the way when he came out or when y'all were trying to get him down the ground? And what was he doing with his hands?
If I remember, it looked like he had something wrapped around his hands, like pins and then.
Okay. What was he doing with those? Was he swinging them or was he just, were y'all trying to grab them? What were y'all doing?
You know, that's why I kind of stayed back because I saw it at first, and then once they got control, you know, we could actually try to touch.
Okay. Okay. So you're kind of staying back while they're because they're on top.
So as long as one person grabbing
Yep.
to try to restrain, can't all grab at the same time. So it's kind of like hit miss. You have to kind of see and wait for an opportunity going so that everybody can be safe.
Did people kind of get in each other's way when they do this?
Yes.
And is that what was happening kind of?
Right.
And so his hands were free.
Right.
Okay. But you didn't see him stab anybody or do anything with the pins?
I
Okay. But you're standing back on that side of my prayer.
Right.
Okay. Did y'all take him from there down to the other cell?
yes.
And when you got down to the other cell, did you notice anything about that cell that was dirty, filthy, feces, urine everywhere where you couldn't live in? Y'all were down there for a little while he was catching his breath, weren't you?
Yeah.
And not one time did you say, you're right, we need to clean this up. I'll pass it. Oh, wait, you see Mr. Peoples in the courtroom today.
Yes.
Can you point to and describe something he's wearing?
Black shirt.
Record reflects he's identified the defendant.
Yes, it will.
I'll pass with it.
So you say you've been working with correctional for Jefferson County Correctional Facility for 5.5 years. That whole time you ran across me pretty often, right? When you first met me and you ran into me, I was in general population, right? And I was out there general population for quite a while before I ended up in the dorms, right? When you worked on the dorms with me, how was my attitude? Real laid back and stuff. If you was to check my track record, I don't know if you have, I know a lot of officers that have. Before my incident in indoor and whatnot, did I have a track record of write-ups and all that? Yeah. But did you hear about me much disrespecting officers and being irate in the dorm? Not in the dorm. Because do you agree that any person acting like this on the dorm would get sent straight to max, right? So I can't remember why you got, but it was agreed. Do you remember me telling you I got tired of the inmates going in my drawer, so I put myself back there? Okay. As a matter of fact, you was there one time when I put myself back there when I wouldn't let nobody take my because they kept taking my paperwork and do you remember that time? And I refused to let anybody touch my property. I say put me in indoor. That's where I want to go. Remember? And remember what isolation cell that I used to like going to? Remember, I'm like, man, put me in. I used to tell
Okay, you know,
Sergeant, Sergeant Sam, man, put me in isolation 1. I like this cell. That's my favorite cell. But at this particular time, I ended up in isolation 6, correct? So there's no problem I have with isolation 1, right? But this particular day, you see me, and this ain't you. What's going on? You know, when you talk me down, I was almost ready to. All right, man, listen. Well, I cuff up. Can you get him to go clean up? Man, look, I'm gonna talk to him. You cuff up, man. I'm like, all right. Next thing I know, he pull up at the thing. You remember that being my, you know what? No, he ready to fight. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? He just trying to hurt it. Now, you know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to clean up nothing. He just want to hurt it. And then I flip.
Hold on.
Do you remember?
Hold on. You got to ask questions, not give a speech. You get a chance to testify later. Ask this in a question form. These are 7 lines long, this question. I'm looking at the transcript. It's 7 lines long. Rephrase it. Be succinct. Go ahead, rephrase your question. Just don't, make it a speech. Just ask your question and he'll answer. That's the rule. That's the way it works, sir. Ask your question succinctly. Thank you.
So excuse me. But do you remember any other times where you had to go pull the inmate out their cell and the lieutenant would grab the camera because I told you or you told it?
I saw him come to sit.
That day?
I believe so.
So no further questions. Thank you.
Does he get to decide when he goes to isolation?
Yeah.
He has to do something to get in isolation, then
Correct.
like throw feasties on guards or something.
Correct.
And if he agreed, he threw something on Lieutenant Ford before in October of 22 when he got put in isolation, that would be the reason he's in isolation.
Correct.
I'll pass with him.
Have you ever known me to play with my feces? Ever get into you other than hearing, other than somebody telling you have walked
I've
up.
never witnessed you.
Right.
Yeah, not that you did.
Yeah, right. Well, everybody, right. But do you remember when Ricky Johnson squirted wasting on myself? You wasn't there then? But other than you hearing about that one time, right? Did you hear about me ever squirting waste on anybody else or getting into a?
I've heard it twice.
Yeah. No further questions.
Nothing further.
Is this man excused?
Please, Judge.
You are excused, sir. Thank you. Let's take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. For 10 minutes or so, relax, stretch your legs, report back outside. Thank you. Everyone else remain seated while the witness and the jury exit first. Thank you. The record shall show all parties are present. The jury is present. And the state, make it all your next witness.
Thomas Darby.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Please have a seat. Thank you.
Just keep for a little bit. I know things makes you feel like it's right in your face. Can you state your name, please?
Thomas Darby.
And where do you work, Mr. Darby?
I'm a plant operator now. It
Really?
used to be correction. You know.
Okay. Making money now, huh?
Yeah. Making
All
money.
right. So back on June 6th of 2023, were you with the Jefferson County Correctional Facility?
Yes. So,
What was your capacity there?
I was an officer. I was working in dorm, max that day.
Okay. What is max dorm? What does that mean?
I was working Mary dorm, which is more of the protective custody, not the disciplinary side.
Okay.
In dorm was more of the disciplinary, also same thing.
Okay. But when they say max, what do they mean max dorm?
individual cells. It's not the open door like the medium and minimum security.
And people that are in the max dorms like that, can they be trustees?
Don't know now.
Back in.
Back then they were trying it out at one point, but at the time I don't remember.
Okay.
So long ago.
So was it usually medium or lower that were
Yes.
trustees?
Yes.
Why were you called to an isolated cell number 6?
I was looking the opposite thing. They wanted assistance on trying to de-escalate or move them cells.
Okay, move who?
Mr. Peoples.
You see him in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you point to him, describe what he's wearing?
Black shirt.
Record reflect he's identified the defendant.
It will.
Had you dealt with Mr. Peoples before?
In passing, I've never talked to him at length.
You had a good rapport with him?
Not a bad thing at all. So sure.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
All right. So really, y'all didn't have much of a
No.
relationship. Is that you up there in State Exhibit 1?
Yes.
And what were you doing up there?
I was talking, trying to de-escalate, trying to get him to cup up and move to ISO 1.
Was there a problem? Why was he not wanting to go?
I don't recall the issues.
Was he talking about a dirty cell down there in 1? Being where they are moving him to a dirty cell?
I don't remember that conversation. But his main thing was, if I recall correctly, he didn't want to move because Lieutenant Ford was telling him to move.
He had a thing with personal before, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. Well, is there a reason? Let me kind of run this video on State Exhibit 1. At some point, did you, in this video, walk down to isolation cell 1 and look in to make sure it was clean? Is that you walking down here?
Sure was. So I did look into it.
If it would have, and I know you're just operating over a couple of years and not being jailed, if it would have been dirty feces all over the wall and everything, what would you have done?
I would have had the trustee clean it. So, I mean, if it was dirty, I would have had him clean it.
And you don't do that, did you?
No.
Okay, so now you're there watching other people try to de-escalate it, is that right?
Yes.
And what's going on while you're watching?
I did not honestly answer. It's been so long, but I'm sure I talked to him some more, told him it was clean. But overall, the conversation, I don't recall.
Okay. What happened next after y'all couldn't get him to come out?
Lieutenant Ford told us that we were going to move him, and I don't recall after that. It was more of a decision that we were going to extract him and move themselves.
So was there pepper balls firing first? Why is the pepper balls firing?
He had the mattress up against the door, so we couldn't open the food port and cut him up through the food port.
Is the pepper balls trying to get him to comply?
Yes.
All right. Did that work?
No.
Now notice here you had the cuffs out like it was almost going to work. Or were you just hoping it would work?
I was hoping it was going to work. I had the cuffs. I was telling him why don't we cup up so it doesn't go any further.
That didn't work either, did it? So then this happens. And you're the one opening the door, aren't you?
Yes.
So when you were involved in all this, did you see anything in Mr. Peoples' hands?
I did see the white cloth in there with the pins.
So he had white cloths on both hands,
Yes.
and he had what with the white cloth?
With the pins.
What kind of like ballpoint pens?
Yes. Blue, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And the ballpoint pens, what was he doing with those? Could you tell?
At the time he did lunge, but my main goal was trying to restrain his hands. So that's where I was focusing, not so much on the pins, more controlling his arms and his hands.
That was kind of hard to do, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was there several of you?
There are a lot of people in the, just in the way, I guess.
So were y'all kind of causing each other not to be able to do what you needed to do? Okay. And during that time, did you ever see anybody get injured?
I was focused on hands and body.
Okay. Afterwards, did you notice anybody was in?
I do remember seeing Lieutenant Ford's face bloody. I'm not sure at what point that was.
States Exhibit 15? And was that right after the fight happened out there, or was it a little later?
I don't recall when I noticed.
Okay, but you did notice it.
Yes.
So were you part of the ones who went with them all the way down to the first cell?
Yes.
And while y'all were in there, did it break out again?
Yes.
But were you down there for a little while before it did?
Oh,
Or do you
I'm not
remember?
mistaken. I don't recall 100%.
Okay. While you were down there in that first cell, there's
Yeah, we were down there for a minute.
yeah. Notice any feces on the wall, urine anywhere? There's no?
No.
Okay, I just make sure she's got to type it down. So is this y'all walking down the hall
Yes.
towards cell number 1?
Yes, sir.
And where y'all going?
To ISO 1.
And did everybody go in there except Arliss Anderson?
I don't recall.
Who's that? Do you know if that's Lieutenant Ford and Arliss Anderson standing out in the hallway? You can't see that far back behind you?
No.
Can't tell?
Those look like Anderson and Ford.
Okay. But you were in that cell and nothing in there caused you any concern about whether Mr. Peoples needed to be moved because of some kind of bad. Okay. How fast would it?
Thomas, it's here. The day this situation took place, when you went down there to look into that isolation cell, what was your reason looking?
I remember talking with you, trying to calm me down, de-escalate. If I were to guess, it would be to go check on it for you to relay that it is clean.
When you came back, do you remember whether or not you told me?
I cannot recall, but I'm sure I did. I mean,
How often did you work Max again?
I worked Max for years.
Like, did they have you back there on a daily basis?
Yep.
So when there was always a situation with an inmate, 9 times out of 10, you would be amongst them, right?
Yeah, I was.
How many times did you have to have this type of combative? How many times you see me back there with this type of combative behavior?
I don't recall specifics. It's been a long time, but we would have occasionally incidents like this.
But with me,
I don't recall people. It's been years.
yeah. And look, from what you do recall, you barely had interaction with me.
I don't know.
No further questions.
Nothing further, Judge.
Is this man excused?
Please, Judge.
And you are excused, sir. Thank you. Next, please.
Paul Arliss Anderson. Thanks, sir.
Board, please. And raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Please have a seat. Thank you.
Let's keep that chair forward a little bit. The last person was farther away than we were. Can you state your name for the jury, please?
Sergeant Anderson.
Is it Arliss Anderson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where do you work?
Jefferson County Correctional Facility,
How long have you worked for them?
almost 30 years.
What do you do?
I supervise the inmates and officers that do ensure their safety.
What's your rank out there?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. Back on June 6th of 2023, were you with the Jefferson County Correctional Facility?
Yes, sir, I was.
And in what capacity?
So I was acting as a sergeant, assisting on action security.
Were you called to isolation cell, nor isolation 6?
I was delivering property, and that's not the other things having a problem with that cell.
Okay.
The inmate themselves.
So nobody called you, just happened to be in the area?
Yes, sir.
All right, and when you got there, at what point did you get there?
Just as they was about to launch the pepper balls into the cell.
Have you ever seen pepper balls being launched into a cell before?
Yes, sir.
On fewer many occasions?
That's me.
What's the purpose of launching the pepper balls?
Cause a reaction from the inmate to comply.
And do most of them comply after that?
Yes, sir.
Looking at State's Exhibit 1, is that you kind of leaning up against the bar there?
Yes, sir. Looks like it.
Now, at some point, did the pepper spray work?
Yes, sir. There's appeared to be.
No, I mean, did it work on the inmate? Did it make him comply?
No, sir, not at all.
So what was the next step that had to be done?
We were gonna have to go in and extract him.
Now, looking at everybody that's in this area right before the extraction, is this you up against the wall?
Yes, sir, it's like it.
And when this door opens, do you have any type of non-lethal weapon?
Yes, sir, I have a taser.
Okay, so you have a taser in your hand. What's the purpose of the taser?
This cause a reaction from the inmate to comply to electrical shock. Something there,
Did you in fact use that taser?
not at that moment.
Did you use it later? Or do you recall?
I was about to, I had extracted it from the holster. And during that altercation, I yelled taser for everybody to clear out the way so I could forward. But
Just nobody cleared it out?
no, sir.
Okay. So when the individual, do you see the individual who came out of that cell here in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Can you point to and describe an article of clothing wearing?
Wearing black shirt and
Record reflect he's identified the defendant.
Yes, it will.
So when the defendant came out of the cell, did you see anything in his hands at that point?
yes, sir. He had two humans, one in each hand, strapped with cloth.
Did that concern you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would that concern you?
It was being used as a weapon to hurt us.
Was he saying anything? Do you remember him yelling anything or saying anything?
I remember he was going to kill you, Lieutenant Buller.
Now, did you just move the mattress out of the way?
Yes, sir.
Is this you right here leaning over Lieutenant Toad? Or is that
I think
Senegar?
Sorry. Well, yes, that's me right.
That's you right there, leaning over Lieutenant Ford.
Yes, sir.
So while they're on the ground there, could you see the defendant?
Yes, sir.
What did he look like to you?
Enraged, angry.
When you saw him, was his face kind of like it is in State's Exhibit 8?
The eyes was wide open.
What did he have in his hands?
With two gray pins strapped around each wrist.
And while you're watching, what was he doing with those hands?
And getting clenched. Fine stab.
What did he do? What did he do? Show the jury what he did with those. And who did he stab anybody?
Lieutenant Boyd
Where did he stab him at?
crossed the right eye.
So that scratch right there, did he also hit him in the body?
Yes, I think that might have been from his hands.
Okay, but you do remember him hitting the head and scratching down with the pin. Was he still flailing with the pins?
Yes,
Were people trying to get him under control?
yes, we were.
So was he saying anything then?
So I'm gonna kill you.
Who's he looking at when you're saying that?
Looked like he was looking at Lieutenant Boyd.
Were y'all able to get him finally subdued and under control? After a while.
Yes, after a while, after a struggle, we're able to pull one hand, his left hand back. I was able to pull the pin fell out of his left hand. And as he was pulling his right hand around, pulled it from his right hand.
So you got the 8 pins away from him out of his hands.
Yes, sir.
And you just chunk them aside? Or what'd you do with them?
I think I dropped him to the side away from him. And proceeded to handcuff him in front.
Is it policy at the jail to handcuff somebody in front or pick them at the back?
Well, he's being difficult and being very combative and resistance. So we're just trying to get him his hands restrained. Normally, if he was just cooperating, coming out of the cell, would be in front of him. But when they're being combative, we normally try to restrain him behind him, but he was being such combativeness and violence. We're just trying to get him restrained.
Just give them cut.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then again, in the hallway, did he start up again?
Yes, yes, he did. At that point, I had a set of leg irons retrieved so we could restrain his feet and get a little more control of him.
So what are the leg irons we're talking about?
Leg irons, they strap around, they cuff around the ankles with about a foot of chain to give him some mobility, but limit the mobility.
So they can walk, but they can't run or do things.
Yes, running to more restrained.
So is that what y'all are doing now?
Yes, sir.
And then is he walk somewhere?
Have to lift him up. And as we do, he tries to lunge at Lieutenant Boyd.
So when y'all get him down the hallway, where are y'all taking him to? Do you remember?
Isolation cell 1.
Did you go into isolation cell 1 with him?
Yes, sir.
So you and Ford are standing, is that y'all standing here at the edge?
Sort of see.
Let me see. Y'all are looking in the cell, right?
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Ford's got his head in the cell, right?
Yes, sir.
And there were several other people that went in the cell with him, right?
So
Was there any feces all over the wall? Was there anything smeared around that was the cell clean?
most sort of the cell was clean.
Was there another problem in that cell?
There's no problem with the cell.
No, I mean with the inmate in that cell.
Oh, yes, sir.
And what did y'all end up having to do?
We placed him down on the bunk And I noticed he had a taser bar lodged in his uniform. I tried to retrieve it. The defendant tried to bite me.
Do you know how the taser barb got there?
That's from, I think it's from Lieutenant Ford's taser.
Okay. So, but there wasn't anything in his skin, it was just in his uniform.
Just in his uniform.
So he never actually got tased. So
That's right.
then what did y'all do with him after that?
Well, Lieutenant Ford had deemed him that he was still violent, so we decided we'll need to restrain him in a raft for full period.
Okay, is that what y'all did?
Yes, sir.
In that situation that y'all had, do y'all have to do that somewhat frequently or just every now and then?
Periodically, they're very combative.
Had you had prior dealings with Mr. Peoples before this?
Not until then.
Okay, this was the first time you had it.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass it.
Mr. Ernest. So you say, when I came out the cell, huh?
Yeah.
With both hands? Was that immediately or?
From my perspective, yes.
And as soon as I came out and I swung like this, one of the pins hit him or both of the pins hit him?
I think just one.
Just one. So, did you get a chance to see the whole part when I came out the cell and you were standing right there? Did you get a chance to watch? Yes. And as I was coming at that cell, you on this video, you see me swinging both hands.
I'm remembering from my recollection during that time.
Oh, but did that happen when you watched the video? Just
That's what it looked like.
okay. So let me ask you a question. Did you know why I was being combative at the time?
No, I didn't know.
So when you went down, when y'all got me down to that cell, did you look in that cell, look around to make sure it was clean?
Once we got you behind the woods,
Like, why did you look to make sure it was clean?
I didn't know. Actually, we were trying to get you down there at that time.
Right. So there would be no reason for you to look to make sure it was clean again, correct?
It's coming over.
So I've been back to this county in this county jail in isolation for about what, 12 months now? You think of when I'm right, am I right?
It was about that.
So when I first got back, did I seem disrespectful, irrational, or combative?
Not this time around, not so far.
You work doing M&N max security quite often, right?
Absolutely.
So on a regular basis, did you have to take me out? Like, okay, wrong question. Let me switch that up. So every day when I come out myself the day room, that's every other day, right? For 1 hour.
For one stop and come home.
So when I do come out to the day room, do you remember whether or not I'm able to use that phone?
No,
No. What had to happen for me to use the phone?
you know, about to book in to use the phone and also about to office to use the phone.
You remember how often that had to happen? Do you know whether or not you are obligated to do that?
No,
You didn't have to. So, are you aware of the policy of Jefferson County Correctional Facility? Would you say it's true under Section 7 of the policy, right? Article 7 of inmate access to telephone, right? They call it security phone, correct? It says on here, it says in the tell me if I'm correct or not. It says from 9 o'clock AM to 900 hours to 2200 hours. Inmates shall have access to the telephone, security telephone, from Sunday through Saturday. Do you remember that?
There is also a resolution can be revoked.
It can be revoked. How? You remember how?
So just remember that.
This being also. Under that article also, it said the inmate shall limit his phone calls to 15 minutes. Do you remember that part? No. So if you have to go through a disciplinary process, right? Do that mean I'm obligated to use the phone unless I'm being combative or irrational or, out of control or something like that?
I think we both, if you've been those, yes.
Right. But what if I'm not? Are you able to revoke it then?
When I was taking down, it was pretty. But she loves it, as long as she's playing phone and the baby, it's not working.
Right. Do you remember how long that was? Let's see. If I give you an estimation about 4 or 5 months, should that seem about right? So if there's a telephone in the day room for the inmates, shouldn't the inmates be able to have access to that telephone when you come out to the day?
Judge, I'm trying to see the relevance of this. I'll let him go a little while, but I'm objecting.
But you
I
were
don't see the relevance.
Aren't you accused of the first degree felony of aggravated assault against a public servant?
Right.
Well, let's get off the phone. Let's get on what the issue is all about, sir, and that's whether you committed aggravated assault. Thank you. Please stay on the ball. Thank you.
So the fact that the jail was blocking my access to the telephone, would you consider that retaliation to make me submit to signing or signing for some time for this charge right now?
Phone will take go off from the phone. I necessarily don't think it's retaliation.
No,
No, of course, they probably told me not to let you use the phone. So,
they weren't blocking my phone. Why would you have to take me to booking?
said you could not make phone calls.
Why couldn't I make phone calls? Don't I supposed to be able to?
If you allow them disciplinary action, you were being cooperative.
But I couldn't, right?
And I don't know, that's what I told everybody else, but for the happens, there's nothing obstructing your phone calls.
And you checked on
Yeah, I did check on.
it. The fact that you were the only, okay, would you believe that Lieutenant Ford said something different about his injury?
No,
Would you believe that he said the same thing you said?
nothing, no.
Would it be a reason that he would say that his injury came from my fingernail? No. You think he might have not seen what happened?
I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what it's stated. I just observed what I see.
No further questions.
Mr. People said he came back in 2023. Is he gone for a while?
Yes, sir. He came back last year.
Where'd he go?
TBC, Texas Department of Corrections.
Went to prison, right?
Yes, sir.
And we brought him back to do this, from all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll pass what.
All right. You're excused. Thank
Wait,
you.
I have one last
Well, come on.
When they brought me back, do you remember me having my paperwork with me? Like, you remember when you got me from bookend? Because when I got back to the jail, you was the very first person I seen. You remember that?
Anything else?
No, you're on.
Okay, you are excused, sir. Thank you. Next, please.
Neville Keeker. Thank you.
Report, sir. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. And please have a seat. Thank you.
State your name for the record, please.
Lieutenant Bell Tinker,
Lieutenant, where do you work?
Jefferson County Corrections.
I know it's kind of obvious, isn't it? How long have you worked for them?
Since 2013.
And what do you do for them?
I'm a lieutenant at jail. I supervise officers and inmates to make sure the inmates are doing what they're supposed to do, and officers are making sure that the inmates are alive, well, and, as far as the safety.
You know an inmate by the name of Raymond Peoples.
So,
You see him in the courtroom today.
yes, this is one that I'm in black shirt.
Record reflects he's identified the defendant.
Yes, it will.
How do you know Raymond Peoples?
And dealing with him like the jail, such as
Given he was what time?
his right time that he's supposed to receive, and his day on times, and other odd dealings with him.
What other odd dealings? What other odd dealings?
His issues as far as him having issues or problems with how we're doing things in the jail. It's not his satisfaction.
So he has his opinion about how y'all should do your job.
Yes, sir.
And do y'all find that he's always trying to tell you how to do your job?
Typically, because
Well, back on April 4th, somewhere in 2026. 14th, sorry, got one digit off.
yes,
April 14th of 2026, did you have a dealing with Mr. Peoples?
yes, sir, I did.
And what was the situation? Where was this at?
It was in the day room area that they have for De-Escalation. So
Okay. And was there a problem or an issue that you were having with Mr. Peoples?
the issue is, he accused me of a week or so prior of denying him food. So when he asked me that day if I was going to give him the tray, I told him I was not, because I did not deny him. And he laid on the floor as to not comply with going back to his cell.
So what happens when, is that kind of like a little child?
Yes, sir, it was.
So he's laying on the floor. What are you going to do to try to get him up?
He wanted me to put him in the restraint chair. I made the decision at that time, no, I'm not going to put you in the restraint chair. I'm going to put you to the cell, which is,
Did he become angry?
yes, we had to actually physically pick him up and walk him to the cell, which he did not comply. He grabbed the bars and things such that, irate and upset.
Was he saying anything to you?
He said multiple things, actually. He was mad. He made multiple comments about how my supervisor has me doing things that I'm not supposed to do, or they're making me do things to him. He also made a comment such as I'm kill this, referring to me. And he also said, I stabbed those white boys, referring to, he said Morgan's name specifically, he said Anderson's name specifically. You don't think I was stabbing?
So he admitted to stabbing officers.
Yes, sir.
And did he say, I'll get away with it?
He said, I haven't.
Said, I have and will get away with it.
Yes. And I actually have my body.
Okay. So when he said this to you, did you take that as a threat to you?
Yes, sir. I did.
Was he saying it nicely? Was he saying it angrily? How was he saying it?
Oh, no, he was very irate. He come back.
I mean, when we see him in the courtroom today, he's kind of calm and docile, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Can he be that way
Yes, he can.
when he gets his way?
Yes, he can.
What is he, look at State's Exhibit number 8. Is that what he looks when he doesn't get his way? Now, he didn't actually stab her or do anything to you, did he?
No, sir, he wasn't able to. We actually had to hold her and we ended up getting him to his cell, getting unrestrained.
Okay. Ever had other dealings with him since then?
Not necessarily. He'll say things like that. But as far as physical, getting physical with him, anything like that was.
I'll pass with him.
Attention. Do you remember my contentions about that day on why I wanted you to give me that tray? Like, you remember what my reason was?
Yes, your reason was that you said that I denied you a training, which I did not do.
So, do you remember me telling you that I was allergic to onions?
We had discussed it earlier that week that you were allergic to onions. And you said that you had received a tray that had onions in it. And that an officer called me and told me that you had a tray with onions in it. I told you I did not receive that phone call. And you said that that officer told you that she called me. And that's not the case. She did not call me. I also told you that per policy, if you tell me that you have a tray that has onions on it, and you're allergic to it, I will go to the front, go to the kitchen and get you a tray that does not have onions.
Do you remember that day that I still had that tray from the day before?
That was not the day before.
When was it?
I don't know when you received the tray. I don't know when you received the tray.
It was the day before.
I don't know that.
Hold
Okay,
on.
sorry.
Yeah. You can
Okay.
testify later.
All right,
You
you're
ask
right.
him a question.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So, you don't know when you say, but you say it wasn't the day before, but you don't know, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, so when I opened that tray and showed you the onions in it, and that I didn't get to eat, did you accommodate me by giving me the tray that I didn't receive?
Not at that time, no, I did not.
But you do remember me opening the tray and showing you the onions, right?
Yes.
So you just testified, correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you not just testify that if I did have a tray with onions on it, that you would have to?
That I knew of. I did not know. I was not the person that you got that tray from. I did not know that. I never received a call about that. As far as I know, that tray could have been from a week ago.
Do you remember me telling you the officer that brought me the tray? And her telling me that she told you that I didn't eat?
I told you, she said that she said that you said that she told you she called me. I tell you, I've never received a phone call.
With you being a supervisor, would that be your responsibility to check?
Check what?
To check to see if my allegations is true.
What allegation?
That I didn't get to eat the day before, and my witness was a CO.
I asked her, she said that she never told you that she called me.
Is it true at the time you told me that you didn't know nothing about it?
I didn't until you told me.
But if you didn't know about it until I told you, when did you ask her?
I asked her the following day after we had the discussion.
Okay. So by me bringing it to your attention at that time, is it your responsibility, which you've been the supervisor, to check at that time?
To check what?
To see if my allegations were true.
What allegation?
That I didn't get to eat. And the officer told me that the kitchen wouldn't bring me my diet tray.
That was never discussed with me before.
It wasn't discussed with me and you.
The only thing you and I discussed was the fact that you said that you received a trade on his own. And that the officer had called me. And I said, no, I never received a call. If I had received a call about you having a tray with onions, I would have went to the kitchen and got you another tray. That's the only thing we discussed.
Well, let me ask you this, if I told you that I didn't get to eat, wouldn't that rectify the fact that the kitchen wouldn't bring me the tray that I was supposed to have?
Just because you told me you didn't eat does not mean that you didn't eat.
So why didn't you check to see if that allegation was true?
Check one allegation.
The fact that I didn't get to eat.
Who am I supposed to check it with, the officer or you?
The officer.
The officer told me that she not called me about a tray, but that she gave you a tray.
You said you checked the next day, right? I'm talking about the day that I was acting combative. Why didn't you check to see if my allegations were true?
That was a week later.
The day that I was being combative?
Yes. We had been going back and forth about this tray for a week before that. You don't remember?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Well, sir,
He
again,
just
you're
asked
making
me
a
a
statement,
question.
you
Just
asked,
asked me a question, so
Sir,
I just had to
well, you don't,
answer.
if anytime you want to take a stand under oath, you have that opportunity, but if he answers a question in the form of answers in the form of a question, you don't answer him back. You're supposed to ask the questions. There's nothing funny about this. This is deadly serious, sir. I know you find this humorous, but follow the rules. Everyone at that point has to follow the rules. Sir, ask questions. Don't give him answers and argue with him. Ask your next question.
All right. So, do you remember as we was going in that cell, right? And you said I was being combative and I threatened to, and I admitted that I stabbed the other two animals. Do you remember whether or not you brought me that tray at that day?
I did bring you a tray at the end because I was tired of dealing with the situation. But it's not that I did not give you a tray on the day that you said I did not give you a tray. I was actually rectifying the situation to just get rid of it.
I noticed. Let me ask you this. I know that you told the Mr. Laird that your body cam was on the day.
Yes, it was.
Did you happen to have it with you? Though?
My body cam?
Yeah, I know the footage.
I don't have it, but that was from jail before.
So on that body cam, what I'm gonna say, on that body cam, are you sure of my admission to me stabbing another officer?
Yes, you said that.
Okay. One other question. Do you remember a situation dealing with my stamps? The situation, the same kind of situation, right? Where I lay down on the ground and I gave you a issue, the same kind of issue. You remember that? So that day, when I gave you that issue, right? Do you remember what that issue was about, specifically dealing with the stamps? Do you remember how that transpired? Yeah. That you part. Do you remember that you had to swap out some items at commissary to bring me my stamps because the commissary worker purposely skipped my stamps so that I wouldn't be able to send off my meal? Do you remember?
I didn't do it.
You didn't do that? So that wouldn't be on your body cam that you had to swap out my food because of a purposeful act, a purposeful wrongful act on your CO's behalf in commissary. You know, you don't think that would be on the you don't think that would be on the body cam?
That would not be on the body cam.
Yeah. So that day we was having the issue, what was it about?
What issue?
Where I refused to leave the brickyard and I laid on the ground.
Oh, the
Just say, Mr. Peoples, help the jury out. We're talking about the indictment, which says on or about June 6th, 2023, that we're talking about this event. Help the jury in what period of time you're talking about with these questions, because we don't know what date it is. Help us out. Ask the question, please, so the jury can understand. Thank you.
July. May 5th, 2026. I was telling you, I need my stamps so I can send off my petition to the Supreme Court or I would be barred. You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And you said that you was too busy and that's why you didn't do it, right?
First of all, I told you at that time I was busy, but you also said that you had spoke with Sergeant Wright and Sergeant Wright was supposed to. No, what you don't.
Sergeant Wright, I told you, let me refresh your memory. Do you remember me telling you Sergeant Wright supposed to told you to do it for day because he worked on the evening. So he's supposed to pass the message along to you.
And I never got it.
So you didn't tell me that morning that Sergeant Wright told you that morning?
Yes, he did tell me, he did say something to me about that, and I did tell you at the time, yes, I was busy because I have other inmates and other things to deal with, other than just you have one.
So would it have been easy for you to rectify the situation by just having that you ordering another CO to go and handle the business so that I wouldn't get barked on the Supreme Court?
And last Delhi's review, I would have felt it would have been better for me to do it myself so that I know that it's done rather than for you to say that somebody else did it or I didn't have somebody else to do it.
Judge, I'm gonna object again. We're getting far away from
Sustained.
this.
You're asking about something 3 years after.
Okay, let's
Sir.
say one.
Sir, when I speak, please, I know you've got a habit of speaking over everybody. Just, you have a fair opportunity to be heard. When the court speaks, you can only take one person at a time, and the Court of Criminal Appeals says she's got to do her job or else somebody gets in trouble. Look, you're asking about something that happened a month or two ago. Again, remember the four corners of this indictment are alleging an event on or about June 6, 2023, 3 years ago. But stay on the focus of what is at issue, what's relevant. It's the allegation in this indictment on or about that date of aggravated assault. Please stay focused on that issue. Thank you. Ask your next question.
Can I tell my rebuttal? So the DA.
No, I've made the order. You have a chance to be heard later. Okay, outside the presence of the jury.
Okay.
You ask your next question.
One. Character-wise, every time we had an issue with each other, it would be a serious issue, correct?
No,
How many issues have we had with each other?
I don't count. I can't tell you. Sure.
Do you recollect earlier telling the DA, Mr. Laird, that it hasn't been me?
No, so that's him.
You know what I say that to me? No further questions. Oh, no, I'm lying.
Go ahead.
Oh. Is it? Oh. Oh. You know, yeah, he's not the right person, never mind. That's what you said.
All right. Is this man excused or? do you
Yes,
have-
please, Judge.
All right, you are excused, sir. Let's take another short break, ladies and gentlemen. Refresh and keep the blood moving. We'll see you back in 10 minutes. Thank you.
That's what I want. That's all I want. That's all I want. You trying to fight, you don't know what they make me. You trying to fight me, but you don't find what they make you do. You don't find what they make you do. You don't get the answer, bro. I promise you don't get the answer. That's how they operate. That's how he his friends operate. Let me just take off to they got to take them once and they keep that they give it. Like I want to just like I was up there, more of a bitch head. Come on, people walk up to break the white shit, yeah.
What did you just say?
Just like I tried to stab Morgan and Ford and all them other ones. If you want to get huge challenge, if you want to learn this shit, I will make sure I bring you everything in. Everything in, because all, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna all the shit that I've been doing for you. Because if you want to work with me, but I ain't I promise you, I know it's real. I know it's real. If you want to work with me, but I ain't stupid shit. I know it's real. Trade the. Look, don't work with me, I ain't stupid shit. Oh, you are going to tell the words and trade. Listen. What's up? You gotta understand this. First and foremost, like I told you yesterday, I did not got 9-year-olds. That woman never talked to me. Well, tell her, look, I ain't gonna tell her nothing. I ain't telling you that. I'm telling you that because you always lying. I'm not lying to you. I haven't given you this stuff. I haven't given you what you want. I'm not lying to you. You told me that you can't find it. Neither that's fine. You gonna tell me what I did? What I told you was, and what I've always said was this. I have to answer to you. I've asked you, you did not give me an answer. If I told you I asked you, you gonna say, well, they say, and I say, you don't give me an answer. You gonna say, well, what's the answer? I know exactly what you're talking about. I was giving NISO 6. You were NISO 6, and I told you just what I told you. It's not everything, but you know, as far as this trade situation, I never denied you nothing. If you were an onion diet and they were trying to give you an onion tray, then I would not deny you a tray. Well, if you did, then I mean, it was on your watch. So, on your watch. You can't blame me for something that I think I do. You do? Okay. You give the cups back. You let us do what we got to do. All you have to do is understand. I will give the cups back. You need to train it. That's not how I go. Okay. Well, you give us our cups back and I give you a train. I'm not putting you in the chair. Okay. I'm putting you in the chair. Like he said. Like he said. Like he said. Like he said. If you give him the cups back, you get a train. If you give him the cups back, you give him the cups back, fellas, he'll get us right. You just don't know what you understand condition. I just told you, give up them cups and you'll get your train. I ain't got no reason to lie to you. Like I told you before, I don't give a fuck about you like that, bro. I don't. I have no reason to fuck over you. You are not that important for me to fuck over you like that. You're really not. Okay. So I'm a fuck nigga, but I'm trying to work with you to get your train. I'm a fuck nigga, but I'm working with you to get your train.
She got it. You good? Oh, okay. Mayor Piggy, give me another no. Nah, just call for your trade, Mr. Peter. You heard me? Okay. Well, all right. Look here, I tell you what. When you get your tray, I need a polish. All right? Yeah. Friendly people's goofy.
Yeah, don't let that month go green and change the psychiatry.
No,
That's right, man. Not letting that motherfucker with his wife trying to get this goddamn mail.
So this tray you were giving him, was that making up for the tray that he had lost, or are you just giving him his tray for lunch that day?
The first one that they gave him was the one that whenever they were struggling with him, they messed it up for whatever reason. After they stepped on it. So I was giving him that tray for that. The second tray that I called for was just to rectify the situation and just get it all over. It was not because I denied him a tray. It was just to make him feel better about the whole situation.
Okay, so he threw that big fit over a tray that happened a week ago before this?
It was like that Tuesday, like I said, he said it happened on Tuesday, but this was Sunday that we had this situation.
So it's been a few days. And you don't give inmates meals to replace meals from days ago, do you?
No.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you want to ask any questions?
The truth. Is it true that the first incident, the first incident was Thursday, 2 days after I informed you, after the incident, you had put me in a chair, remember?
I don't work Thursdays.
Well, okay, well, it must have been Friday. Remember?
I don't work Fridays.
Okay, then it must have been Wednesday. You don't remember putting me in the chair the first time?
I do remember putting in, right? I just don't remember what the situation was.
About the food, the same situation. Because that means it was the day before, right?
Okay.
And the next day, I told you, I showed you, and then you had put me in the chair because you didn't want to give it to me. And you remember that?
Yes, I thought because
All right. And then that's why.
Hold on, he gets a chance to complete his answer.
Oh, okay.
Don't cut him off. Go ahead, sir.
yes, because I had told you that I did not refuse you a tray, and I never received a phone call from Ms. Banks. You said Ms. Banks told you that she called, right?
Right.
And I said, no, she did not. I never received a call. And you said, I don't. And I said, okay, Mr. Peters, but I'm not giving you a tray.
And that was the first day after, and then you had put me in the chair, right? And then this was the second. All right. Is it true that all I was trying to get you to do was to rectify the situation so it would stop happening because I kept getting denied my food?
You kept blaming everybody for messing with your trays and all that. But I told you, I'm not giving you a tray, like I said just then on the video. I'm not giving you a tray on the Sunday or a tray that you not receive Tuesday. Or you say that I denied you Tuesday.
No further questions.
All right, is this man excused?
Please, Joe.
You're excused, sir. Next, please.
Judge, if I could have until in the morning, I have some things that came up with Mr. Peoples questioning your testimony that I need to coordinate with my assistant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd be so kind, can y'all report back at 9:30? 9:30, please remember the instructions the court has given to you. We'll see you back then. Thank you. Everyone else remains seated while the jury exits first.
Not 9:30. Not 9:30 in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. For you, and only for you, especially only for you. We are starting an hour early tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will have part 2. And we will be getting right into the defendant's own testimony. You just got a taste of what's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. The train has only shivered on the tracks right now. Judge Stevens has been doing an amazing job keeping the train on the tracks. But he's pro se, and his commentary is going to be in the narrative. So, yeah. You know what in the narrative means, right? We're all familiar with that situation. So he's going to sit up there on the witness chair, and he's going to just talk to us. He's going to talk to all of us. He's going to tell us all about how he has the right to behave the way he has been behaving because of trades and being done wrong by all of the correctional institutions and the conspiracy against him, and how his manipulation of the jail system is in his best interest, and it's his constitutional right. It's his constitutional right, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not him who's the problem. It's the rest of the world. The world just needs to change, ladies and gentlemen. The world needs to change for Mr. Raymond Peoples. And that's just all there is to it. But you know what doesn't need to change? All of these wonderful names on the screen right here, none of these names need to change at all. All of these names are amazing, and they're greatly appreciated. Thank you all so very much for hanging out and spending the first little half of this adventure with me. It's all going to build up to 7 p.m. tonight. Or part 2, which should be on the screen right now if you're watching later. Yeah, click on that. It's not there yet for most of us because we're live and we're having an amazing chat. And if you're not here live and hanging out this amazing chat with Becky and CE and Granny and Mama and Barry and Let Go of the Rope, you're just missing out. That's just all there is to it. Get on that. We'll be here live later. Set your notifications because we are an hour early. We are not the same Wolf Time, same Wolf Channel. We are at an off Wolf Time because the next part, ladies and gentlemen, is 3 hours long. It is day 2 in its entirety, and I have abridged it to a legally necessitated point. There was a lot of redundancy in there. I will be honest, we're skipping over a detective who came in after the fact and investigated the whole thing. There's some pictures that were shown, and the cross-examination was kind of funny, but it's more important that we get directly into the defendant's own words, because that, ladies and gentlemen, that's where all of the interesting stuff is. So come on back by later on for part 2 and check out what the defendant has to say about the whole situation. Till then, I'm your lone wolf Usla. I am out. Oh yeah, thank you, Zach. I didn't even thank you for that super chat. That was awesome. Law nerds unite, y'all. And remember, only you can take a bite out of crime. Bye!